Howdy do, guys, gals, and other pals. Welcome to this Saturday's edition of Pop It Fox. A few things I want to go over before we get into the bulk of the video. So the first thing is, obviously I announced a giveaway in my Chase Roulette video. If you've not watched that video, go check it out. This guy might be the luckiest man on the planet. Go check it out for your chance to win one of the fantastic Dorodo's Dad pops. All you need to do is go watch my Chase Roulette video, drop a like, drop a comment, be subscribed to my channel, and you're automatically entered into the giveaway. I didn't mention this in that video because I was kind of hyped from pulling the chase. Spoilers, I pulled the chase. But I will be announcing the winner of this giveaway in next Saturday's video, so stay tuned for that. Go into that for your chance to win a free pop, because who doesn't love free pops? So let's get into the video. So today, I've not done a video like this for a while. I'm just going to talk about 5 different lines I want to see Funko do. This is very much just a fantasy kind of situation, to be completely honest. Because I really don't think Funko are going to make any of these. These are just some things from my childhood that I would love to see in pop form, and I would definitely pick up probably most of these if they made them. It was originally just going to be movies, but then there are a couple of things I wanted to include because they would just translate really well into pop form. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 1. Atlantis, The Lost Empire. This was a Disney film. I believe it came out in 2001. And it kind of, for me personally, it changed the game because it was a Disney movie, but it didn't have this this fairy tale sort of fantasy idea. It was an adventure movie, you know. You had this cast of explorers, these cool characters, diverse cast of characters. And it was just super duper cool. It was, of course, recently the 20th anniversary of this movie, so I feel like if Funko were going to do something about it, they would have done it now. So this is why I say I really don't think it will happen. But nonetheless, you know, I would love to see it because I said there's so many different characters. Even if they just did a Milo and a Kida pop, just as Funko Shop exclusives or something, that would be really cool because I think it was such an important film for so many people. And just as a side note, I'm actually in a group where the guy who wrote the movie, he's part of, and he interacts with his fans, and he sends out posters to people randomly, just for being fans. And he's really engaged with that community. I'll link that Facebook group down below. Definitely go check it out if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, number 1 on the list is going to be Atlantis, The Lost Empire for sure. Number 2. So sticking with that theme really, because this is another one that he wrote. It's Tab Murphy, by the way. He's such a cool guy, and just being in that group, you can really see he's a genuine stand-up chap. It's really nice. This is another one he wrote. This is Brother Bear. I think this is again one that would really translate well into pop form. We've seen animal characters done really well before. I can see a pop of Kenai when he's a bear with Coda on his shoulder or something, you know. That would just be super duper cool. Or even go really crazy and maybe have a chase where you have him as a human. Like, you know, that could be really fun, and I think that's something that would really translate well into pop form. Unfortunately, I think similarly to Atlantis, these films didn't carry the same weight that the classics did. So I think I know Disney has different eras. You have like a Disney Renaissance and things like that, and like you have the Golden Age classics. I don't know exactly where these films fit into that, but they don't have the same weight as like a Cinderella or an Ariel or a Snow White, you know, like the Ultimate Princess line, which is still, these characters are still very popular. So yeah, but it's definitely something, again, it could be the kind of thing I could sort of see as maybe a one-off as a Funko Shop exclusive or something like that, but it would be really fun to see them. It would be really fun to see them do this film in pop form. Number 3, The Road to El Dorado, dude. Like, what a cool movie this was. Again, this had that, it's a DreamWorks one, but it has that kind of epic You know, it's a big adventure movie. You know, you have Tulio and Miguel. You know, they're these really cool characters. There's just so much they could do with it. You know, the I can't remember the guy's name. The priest at the end when he becomes like the big bad monster. You know, that the chief of the city, he would be really cool. And you know, there's a lot of memes going around using this film as a format, so it is something that people would recognize. Again, though, unfortunately, like Atlantis, it's one of those films that isn't considered to be a classic in the same way that some of the big Disney ones are, but it would seem like very unlikely to happen. So unfortunately, I think it's going to be one of those films that just will remain as a memory. But I would really love to see like Tulio and Miguel in stupid poses, because they're both idiots, and that's part of the charm of the film. So next up, this is actually the entry on the list. What were we on? 4? I think we're number 4. This is actually the entry on the list that made this list go from kids movies to kids movies and TV shows, because I really wanted to mention this one. And that is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, dude. That show was incredible. In the same way that Atlantis and The Road to El Dorado really kind of changed the game for me personally in terms of what kids shows and movies was, Billy and Mandy really kind of did that for TV shows. It was on Cartoon Network, and it just changed it. Like, the main characters are two, like, I don't know how old they're supposed to be. I think they're under 10. Like, two kids who basically have who have Death himself as a pet, and he speaks with a thick Jamaican accent. You know, it's incredible. It's so much fun. There's a huge different cast of characters. You have Fred Fredburger, who is this strange little animal man, this demon elephant trunk chap, who's just absolutely bizarre, absolutely wacky. Billy at one point ends up having a spider called Jeff for a son. It's completely zany, completely crazy. And there's just a bunch of different characters they could do. This one, I would say, not necessarily impossible that they could do it. In the last couple of years, we have seen a lot of Cartoon Network pops. We saw the Dexter from Dexter's Lab. We saw a Johnny Bravo. Just this year, we saw Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which, by the way, would have been on this list had they not just recently done it for sure. Again, great show. But yeah, no, I really would love to see Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. You know, again, even if it was just a couple of pops, even if you had like a 3-pack Grim, Billy, Mandy, that would be really, really cool. So yeah, I think of all the ones on this list, I'd say this is the one that has the most potential to be something they do at some point, even if that potential is small. Next up is Quest for Camelot. So this is a movie that was similar. So I think it's DreamWorks as well. It's a similar kind of like feel to El Dorado, of it sort of like being this big adventure. Again, same situation, lots of cool characters. There's a dragon with 2 heads, and like they're absolutely ridiculous, and that could be a really fun pop. The main villain is really, really cool. He's got like weapons for arms, and yeah, you know, it's another one of those films that, like, I think this is definitely going to be one of those ones that is just lost to the back roads of people's memories who have seen the movie, because it's not really one of those films that you would expect everyone has seen. I know that sounds kind of like hipstery, like, oh, you've probably never heard of this. You've probably never heard of this. No, I just mean that, like, it doesn't have the same. You would assume that most people have seen the Disney classics, especially at my sort of age. You know, I'm in my mid-20s. Most people this age grew up with the Disney classics, and you would expect someone of a similar age to me, or slightly younger, to have seen, you know, Snow White, Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. You know, you expect people to have seen that. This one's a bit more like, you might have seen it. But if you haven't seen it, honestly, I do recommend it. It's a really fun movie. It can deal with some quite dark themes at times, definitely themes of loss. definitely themes of coping with adversity. This isn't a movie review, but it would be a really cool thing for them to make pops of. So the next one on my list is kind of a bit tentative, because the character design, I don't know how well it would lend itself to pops. It does have quite a distinct art style that I don't know how well that would translate into the Funko formula. And that's Ed, Edd and Eddy. Again, this was a Cartoon Network classic, and I think maybe this is another one of those ones that potentially they could do. But in my head, the one that looks weirdest to me is Double D. I can't quite in my head put that into pop form. I think just because a lot of the art is like kind of like hair sticking up or sort of floating lines, that kind of thing. I don't think that would really work that well in pop form. So this is kind of a thing of, it'd be cool to see something from Ed, Edd and Eddy, but I don't know if pops is the right thing. So I guess it's kind of not necessarily on my list, but definitely a first alternate, I think, because I don't think it would work that well, but it would be really cool to see something Ed, Edd and Eddy. So that is my list of kids' TV shows and films I'd like to see Funko make figures of. There were a few others I had thought of, but I didn't want this video to just turn into a nostalgic trip of, reminiscing on the good old days. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below of if you watched some of these stuff, because obviously a few of them are a bit slightly more obscure, so not everyone may have seen them. And let me know your thoughts. What shows and movies for kids would you love to see put into pop form? And like I say, as with Ed, Edd and Eddy, it doesn't necessarily have to be something you think would look good in pop form, but just something that want to hold and just be like, this gives me nostalgia. That's the kind of feeling I'm sort of searching for. So thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.